being that, you born and raised in Chicago, you got to see the Bulls, come up and three-peats, all that. You was there to soak it all in. So Michael Jordan's, I wouldn't say gambling problem, because it wasn't like he was broke or anything, but his gambling controversy, that's what we would call it. Do you think that affected his decision to walk away from the game for 2 years? Like, do you think it was primarily because his father died that he wanted to step away, or do you think maybe it was a combination of his father being killed and, his gambling issues being publicized and, David Stern thinking it was kind of bad for the league? Do you think that was a factor in his decision?
Well, I do think the gambling controversy was part of the reason for him to retire. Being around that team, growing up watching them from day one when Jordan came into the league, all the way throughout his career, through both two retirements. I was there for every single game, every interview. I just grew up and watched them the whole time. That was just my team. And living here in Chicago, I got to see it all. And I remember those days well. So, yes, during that third season of the first three-peat, that 93 season, was a tough season for us mentally because Michael Jordan was our leader. And once he won the first two championships, at that point, he knew, okay, we need to come back, and I want that third one, to have three in a row, to do something that Magic and Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, and those guys have never done, was win 3 championships in a row. And that'll separate himself from them. Not to brag to say he's better than them or he deserves to be better than them, although we do know him as the GOAT. But he wanted to do that just to separate himself for their accomplishments. So the third season was very hard, very challenging, not only physically with the up-and-coming New York Knicks, but mentally. Once they got through that season and they won that championship, which, in my opinion, that championship was the second hardest championship of the 6 that they won. That particular one was the second hardest, right behind the 6th championship against the Utah Jazz. I think was the most hardest championship.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, and the reason I bring up that Utah series is because it was so taxing on that mentality that he's done it. Now he can say, okay, what else can I do? I just went through this grueling series, this grueling season in 93. I had a lot of controversy with the gambling. And I don't think he had a gambling problem. I think he loves gambling, but I think he loves gambling because it's part of competition.
Right.
So the competition is what fueled him. And gambling was one of it. And plus, also, I think gambling was his way of getting away from things. He liked to go play golf, get away from basketball. We all know from the day one he step up, he come out the house, go to the hotel, there's thousands and thousands of fans there. He signed some autographs. He talked to some people. Then he go and do the press with all the press in his face. Then he played the game. Then after the game, he got all the press. He got all the fans.
Yeah.
At some point, you get that's taxing. But if you guys a reason to continue to do those things, which is his reason is to continue to win championships because he's looking to get this three-peat. Once he got that three-peat, it's like, wow, okay, all the controversy I go through every single day now. All the heckling and the taxing day of my life every single day, every single moment. I'm tired. I'm mentally tired. I got my three-peat, something Magic and Bird and them haven't done. I have nothing else to prove. So even before the tragic loss of his father happened, he was already pretty much at that point that this was it for me. Now he's going to need something to keep him to stay. But at that point, it wasn't nothing. Then come the tragic death of his dad. Now his dad is gone. Coming into that season, there's going to be a lot of questions about that. To tie in to his gambling, was it a part of the reason for his dad's tragic death? All that controversy, even though they even brought it up. He never had to answer that, but, brought that up too. You don't want to go through all this. So I think, yes, the gambling was part of it because of the controversy of it, and he's sick of going through that. But I think mentally he was done. He accomplished the things he wanted to separate himself from other greats, and yeah, so he just was ready to retire and get away from basketball and get out the spotlight. So I don't think the gambling was the reason he left, but I think it was a piece of the puzzle of why he left.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. And plus, like, you made an interesting point. Like, I remember part of that episode, they was interviewing him when he was sitting on the balcony, like, everybody want to be like Mike, they always say, like, I would like to be in your shoes for a minute. He's like, no, a minute wouldn't be long enough for you to, accept what I gotta go through. So, this man, like, since college, he ain't been able, like, he can't go out in public. Like, he can't go to the movies by himself. He can't walk through the mall by himself. So I definitely understand, but I think he could have handled it better. Like, I can't remember the guy's name, though. The guy he wrote that check to for like $57,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they initially asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, it was a loan. I loaned him some money. But when he had to go to court for it, it turns out he was, repaying. He lost a bet, so he was paying up for the bet. So I think just the way it was handled kind of made it look worse than probably what it was. I mean, because it's Michael Jordan. He got money. So the amounts of money he was betting, it was like, we know you good for it. Ain't like he was living on the street gambling with his last money. You know what I'm saying? So I think it got blown out of proportion. But I think also that comes along with the territory. When you the best thing in the world, a lot of people can't wait for you to come down. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people do want your downfall. So I think that kind of contributed. And he probably, probably was like, you know what? I'm tired of this, man. I got my 3-peat. I need a break from y'all. So I definitely get it. And I think both of those things probably contributed to him, like, being like, yeah, I need a break from this.
Yeah, and definitely what he called the little white lie, and I agree. I shouldn't even put quotation like I don't agree with it. It was a little white lie
Yeah.
as far as the 57 grand to pay to the guy, and he said it was a loan. He just didn't want to get into the controversy of the gambling. Oh, why did you pay him? You gambling that much and then get into that. So he thought he can avoid it by telling that lie. Mistake, was it? Yeah, mistake. But I totally understand that he's so much he has to go through. We as fans, diehard sports fans at that, we understand and what these athletes go through, but none other went through as much as, or I'm not saying as far as controversy, but just in general, your lifestyle. No one went through as much as this guy. As far as because even though social media wasn't even around back in the early 90s,
Yeah.
it was almost like he's living social media because every time, every moment, everything he does, unless he's in his privacy of his home or in the privacy of his hotel room, other than that, the spotlight was on him. I mean, the one part of the docu-series where he's in the hotel room and he let the camera crew in, and you're like, this is my peace time, except now you guys are here, but that's the only time he can get away and be to himself. And how hard would that be for one of us? We can go out and go shoot around or go to the stores or whatever, go to dinner, drive our car on the expressway. He once had an interview in the early 90s where he said he used to have personalized license plates with Jordan, or I can't remember what he had on the plate, but it was something to his effect where if you saw the plate, you knew it was him.
Mm-hmm.
But he had his windows tinted. And he said people used to always come up on the side of his car and they'd slow down and drive the speed with him, trying to look, got their windows down, head out the window, just looking to try to get a glimpse of him. And he ended up seeing an accident. Someone had an accident who was trying to get a glimpse of him because they saw his license plate. So he said from that point on, he had to change his place. He wouldn't do personalized plates anymore. So just imagine, man in the car on the expressway, just going about his business, wherever he's going. And he got people following him and trying to get a glimpse where they have an accident.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like you said, we can say, man, we love to be like, really? Do you?
It's a lot to come with it. I couldn't do it because I'm like, I'm a person that definitely need his time alone. Like I gotta get away from my wife and kids every day, you know. So I could, yeah, I definitely couldn't do it.